Once upon a time, in a quiet village by the sea, lived an old lady. Her name was Mira. Her hair was silver like the moon, and her eyes were soft and kind. Every evening, she sat in her garden, sipping tea and listening to the wind. The villagers called her the Old Moon because she was always calm and peaceful like the moon in the sky. One morning, Mira was watering her roses when she felt something hard under her finger. She dug a little in the dirt and found a little wooden box. It was buried under her favorite rose bush. The box was old and a little dusty, but as she brushed it off, she saw that it had her name carved on it in beautiful letters. Mira's heart skipped a beat. She felt a little scared, but mostly very curious. What could be inside? Carefully, she lifted the lid. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, was a tiny golden key. It was so small and delicate, like a tiny wish. As soon as Mira touched it, the garden around her changed. The flowers shimmered with 1,000 colors. The bushes rustled, even though there was no wind. And at the end of the path, right under her nose, was a small glowing door. It was in the old oak tree that had stood in her garden for as long as she could remember. But before, there had never been a door there. Hesitantly, she reached out and pushed it open. On the other side, everything looked different, yet familiar. Tall grasses tickled Mira's ankles and the air buzzed with the sound of busy bees. Mira took a deep breath. It smelled like wild honey and warm sunshine. The little golden key felt heavy in her hand. Then she saw it. Right in the middle of a field, nestled between swaying sunflowers, was a little girl flying a red kite. The girl was laughing, her hair flowing in the wind. She looked like an elf or a fairy. Mira couldn't help but smile. It was her. It was her as a child. "Come play," the young Mira shouted. Old Mira ran to her, laughing. She chased butterflies, played hide-and-seek behind the sunflowers, and rolled in the grass without even feeling the dirt or the stones under her knees. Together, they picked apples from the old gnarled tree and splashed in the shallow river, running barefoot over the smooth, wet stones. When the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, they sat on a nearby tree. The two Miras sat quietly for a while, watching the sunset together. "I missed you," old Mira whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm still here," the young Mira said, her voice as sweet as honey. "You just forgot how to find me." Old Mira threw her arms around the little girl. She hugged her tight, burying her face in her hair. She closed her eyes and inhaled deeply, breathing in the sweet scent of wildflowers and sunshine that seemed to radiate from her. "Will I lose you again?" Old Mira whispered, afraid that if she opened her eyes, the little girl would vanish. The little girl shook her head, her touch as light as a feather on old Mira's cheek. "Not if you remember to smile, to play, and to love the little things," she said. The wind picked up, rustling the leaves in the old oak tree. The golden key in old Mira's hand began to fade, and the world around her started to spin. She knew it was time to go back. With a final wave to her younger self, Mira stepped through the shimmering portal and found herself back in her own garden. The roses were still swaying gently in the breeze, but now Mira saw them in a new light. Their delicate petals seemed to shimmer with 1,000 colors, and their scent was like sweet dreams and distant memories. From that day on, Mira never forgot the little girl in the field with the red kite. She spent her days playing with the village children, telling stories, making paper boats, and showing them how to find magic in the wind, in the flowers, and in memories.